All right, good evening, everybody. Good evening, good evening. It is 10 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. Actually, it's 10:03 Central Standard Time, and we are going to get started on the Royal We Live. We're going to be talking about narcissistic abuse and issues regarding domestic violence and abuse, guys. So I want to go ahead and get started with the intro as you guys are coming on to the show. Hi, community consultant. Hi, Carla. I just want to take a couple of moments just to allow some time for people to show up and say hi. Hi, Missy Joy. Hi, No More Narcs. Hi, Mrs. E. Hi, Amanda Stapleton. How are you? Tanya Millette. How are you? Good evening, everybody. It's 4 after 10 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Good evening, everybody. Like I said, we're going to be talking about narcissistic abuse, and I'm so glad that you guys are here with me this evening. I'm going to go ahead and let the phone line stay open, and we will wait for our first telephone call. But while we do, I want to go ahead and go over some things for you guys who are new. If you are new to the Royal We, welcome to this community. I encourage you to subscribe to the channel if you are not yet a subscriber, and be a part of the Royal We community as we heal from narcissistic abuse. Also, there is a bell notification on the channel, and what that bell notification will do will allow you to receive a notification when we go live so that you do not miss the live episodes. And we have a caller from California. If you'd hold one moment, caller, while we go through the rest of the intro. Finally, guys, connect. We are talking about narcissistic abuse, guys. It's important in your healing journey to be able to reach out, to connect with other people. That's the reason why we're here. Whether you're connecting in the chat or you pick up the telephone and make that a very important phone call, it's healing for you, and it's healing for everybody in the community. Guys, before I get into the phone call, I want to let you know that viewer discretion is advised on the Royal We Live. We are talking about narcissistic abuse. We will be talking about issues of domestic abuse, domestic violence, and sexually explicit material, guys. So viewer discretion is advised. And once again, I just want to thank you guys for being here on this Thursday night. And I'm happy to be here with you guys. I look forward to what we're going to be discussing tonight in regards to healing from narcissistic abuse. And let's go straight to our first phone call from California. I want to thank you for calling. You're live on the Royal We.
Hi, it's me, Sophia.
Sophia, how are you?
Hanging in there, barely. That's why I'm calling. Thanks for being on here every night. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for being here with us.
Thank you. My daughter was complaining to me the other day about you saying that she didn't know if this was helpful and that I was just kind of pushing myself further. And then I think it was last night or the night before, you mentioned that the reason you have this every night is that so people don't fall back into the trap or stay in the trap or see what's going on in their life to help save their life. And I believe that, and I'm thankful because I barely leave the house. The reason I'm calling is because I'm going through a lot of...
Let me ask you real quick before we move on. How old is your daughter? I'm just curious.
She's 24.
Okay. So one of the things that we have to take into consideration with not only, and age is kind of a factor, but not really, is they don't understand the pull of the relationship. You see, when you're in your early 20s, sometimes 24, they treat relationships as it's not really a big deal. So it's really easy for her to have a boyfriend and then not have a boyfriend and not have that sense of it being real serious yet, right? It's not that huge loss at this point yet, right? So it's really easy for sometimes these people to say, well, just move on, get over it. You're staying stuck because of this and that. And it's not true. It really is a battle to get out of that mentality of that desire and that addiction. There's a lot more to it. So I just wanted to comfort you in that there's absolutely nothing wrong with spending your time here as opposed to being wrapped up with a person you have no business being with. Right.
Right. And I appreciate that. And I've had family members and people telling me that, I can't have her responsible for healing me. And I accept that, but I'm at a point where I feel like I can't go out into the world and I can't function unless I see my daughters. And like, I've been so the complex PTSD is so bad that it's causing me to like faint and have panic attacks, and they've given me medicine for it, but I like don't want to take it because I'm
What did
trying to
they
do this okay,
what did they give
but
you?
it's very hard. They gave me Ativan, and I went to the emergency room a couple nights ago because I felt like it was coming on, and my family members were telling me not to put this on my children. So I took myself to the hospital only to find out that I was having panic attacks,
Right.
and they gave me Ativan. And my thing is right now it's like I'm starting to feel like I don't know if I should just like check myself into the hospital because it seems like no matter how much I try, like I get up and I do the dishes and I do things, but I'm still having a hard time to eat, and I'm losing more weight, and I feel like I'm scared, like I just feel like I feel like I'm worse than I was a month ago, and I don't know why, and I feel like the trauma bondage is so strong that I can't get away from it like at all, and I can't be like other people don't understand, and so all I do is I stay home and watch videos on narcissism and how I can best defeat it, but I might be making myself sicker. I can't really tell, but no matter how hard I try, like I'll start praying or I will try to change my focus or switch my train of thought, but no matter what, my head isn't letting me. Like it's almost as if no matter, and I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I go to a therapist, and I have been trying to go to church. I have been going to church, and I've been doing what I can, but it feels like for the first time in my life, my mind is actually taking control over my body, and I've never been in this situation where I can't. My mind will control my body. I've always been able to override things, but it's to the point where my head starts feeling hot and I get sweaty and I stop hearing things and I feel like I'm dizzy and then I passed out and my
Have you
kids.
have you actually passed out, or have you stopped at that point where you felt faint and the light started to get dimmer and things started to look blackened, and then you would have to breathe yourself out of it? Or have you or have you actually woken up on the ground?
Well, I guess I didn't know it was anxiety, that whole thing about the
Right.
room closing in, and I was on the phone with my mom, so I told
Mhm.
her, and I got on my hands and knees, and fortunately, I was already on the floor, and I woke up to her talking and the water running
Yeah.
that I had left on, and then I tried to get up again, and then it happened again,
Okay.
and so I don't know if my mind, it's like I don't know.
Well, first of all, anxiety is very real. Panic attacks are very real. They are an indication that you have experienced trauma. And so I want to let you know that you are in the company of others who've had that same experience, myself being one of them. Okay, I was in a movie theater uh, many years ago before I was married actually, and I was on a date, and I'll never forget it. It was the movie Spider-Man, and I was in the movie theater, and same thing, sweaty palms, heat waves going up and down my arms, and all of a sudden the whole theater started getting darker and darker and darker, and it wasn't the lights dimming; it was like just this perpetual darkening. And I got up out of the seat. I ran. I just bolted, kind of hurled over, went to the popcorn stand, said, "Call 911. I'm dying." Because I felt like I was dying. I had no idea what it was. Same thing, anxiety. I was given some medications for a while, panic attacks. Weaned myself off of those medications. I would suggest, and I know a lot of people who have been on Ativan. I wasn't on Ativan. It was something else. I suggest you wean yourself off of that. Do not stay on Ativan. It is a very dangerous medication and a very dangerous drug. It's not meant for anything long term. And it would be my wish that you wouldn't even be on it right now. Rather grow and to learn how to. Is this the first time you've experienced anxiety and panic attacks in your life, or is it something that you've experienced in your younger? Do you know? Do you remember?
No, that's what's
Okay.
scaring me. This
It is
is the
scary.
first time in my life.
Right. So I want to affirm for you that it is very scary. I've been there. I have relatives who have also been there. So there may be some genetic cursors there or disposition to panic and anxiety attacks. Okay. I want to tell you that you're not alone. That anxiety and panic attacks do happen to a lot of people. It can feel like you're going to faint. It can feel like you're going to die. And I had every test done under the sun just to make sure all my blood was normal, everything was normal, and everything was normal. I remember when I went for
Yeah.
testing, I had them put heart regulations. I told the doctors, I said, something is wrong with me. I'm dying. I'm not lying to you. I'm not kidding you. They put heart monitors on me and I for a week and monitored it because I was telling them that it felt like my heart was beating out of my chest and got all the test results back and everything was normal. So it
That's what
absolutely
happened to me.
it
That's what
absolutely
happened to me.
right. So it absolutely is it's trauma being released in your mind. It's manifesting itself through feels, and what you feel seems very real. Okay, so I want to tell you right now that's not an indication that you are going to collapse and fall over or die. You know, and it's an indication that your mind is releasing trauma, years and years of trauma that you have experienced it, and it's not doing it very easily. It's a readjustment. Your body's readjusting. So in time, I beat it. I beat anxiety and panic attacks. That's why I'm able to talk to you about it. In time, it will go away. Wean yourself off of the drugs, exercise, do things, get out. You're going to feel them come on. In time, you're going to be able to say, okay, I know it's a panic attack. I know it's an anxiety attack. Breathe, take deep breaths. And I actually talked about this in one of my videos. I believe it's c-ptsd. In that video, I talk about it. Do something that makes you feel grounded. So what I would do is go and grab a cup of water, and I would stand there and drink the water because it would just make me feel grounded. It put the ground back under my feet. It put a physical object back in my hand, and I can feel the water going down, and it would just tell me and tell my mind things are normal. I'm drinking water. I'm normal. I've had panic attacks while driving, which is very scary. You're on the freeway
Mm.
and all of a sudden things are going by you, but suddenly you feel like you're disoriented just out of nowhere.
Yes.
It
Yes.
suddenly you things just aren't making sense. The world seems surreal, like nothing's there. And
Yes.
same thing, the heat waves start traveling up my arm and the sweat, I would get sweaty palms and it would terrify me because I would say, "Oh my
Yes.
gosh, what if I faint while I'm driving?" So I would pull over, right? And you can do that. Just pull over wherever you are on the
Mhm.
freeway, pull over safely, get off it. And I would just sit there and let my body do its thing. And again, I would do something to ground me, roll the window down, feel the cold air on my face, something that grounds me back down to reality, gets my mind back to reality, right? So
Okay.
you can get through this, hun. Okay, I promise you. Panic attacks and anxiety, I guarantee you, it's not a result of being a part of the Royal We community. That's for sure. It's not a part of this. Okay, the panic and the anxiety is a result of years of trauma that your mind is now trying to deal with. Typically, also, I'm not sure. Were you a heavy drinker by any chance? Did you do a lot of partying and alcohol?
No,
Okay.
not at all.
So sometimes
I
that can be a factor in it, and it's not necessarily the case, but there's different factors. There's any kind of a sudden change, okay? Sometimes if you move or the loss of a loved one, any kind of a traumatic experience can have a manifestation of panic attacks, okay? And so
Well, basically, he was being physically and verbally abusive all the way to the end, and it's
that'll
just
do it.
not.
And that will do it. This is your anxiety. This is your panic attack. Your mind is dealing with that now. Your body's processing
But
that
I
now.
just don't know how to, like, I don't know that I'm going to be doing. My doctor diagnosed me with complex PTSD and
Right.
put me on disability. So I'm able to be at home, but my kids are starting to act like there's something really wrong with me and they don't know
Sure.
what to do with me.
Well, here's
And
the
I don't
thing.
know what to tell them.
Here's the thing, okay? Your family is absolutely right, and I'm going to tell you this too. Your kids and your family are not the people to go to with this. They're not. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to stop including them in this battle that you're going through in life. You can include me. You can include the Royal We community. You've got people here and moderators here who are ready to love all over you, pray for you, talk to you, who understand it. Your kids who are in their 20s don't understand it. And don't expect them to understand it. And don't expect them, hope to God that they don't live a life that causes them to have to understand this. This is something that we have to go through as a result of things that we have experienced in our life. And if anything, you want to make sure your kids don't have to experience this, okay? So don't try to lean on them. Your family's right. Don't lean on your kids. Don't bring it to them.
Okay.
Contact me. Contact this community. This is why we're here every night. Okay? And so don't buy into if they're saying, well, you're watching the videos on how to heal and that's what's keeping you stuck. No. This is where you need to heal and get it out. And then when you wake up in the morning, yes, you're going to experience anxiety and panic, and you're going to have to learn how to control these things. You're going to have to know it's your mind. And you're not your mind, hon. You're not your mind, right? We as human beings, the way God has created us, that are so complex, right? We can think about our own thoughts. And our minds can speak to us in dreams, and we're not. There's something outside of that we are, that even creates our minds. It not creates our minds, but it can control our minds. Even Paul in the Bible talked about this, how the members of his body are at war with one another. He was at war with his flesh. The inner spirit man's at war with the flesh. Wretched man that I am. He was very frustrated with it. You are now becoming frustrated with it. I have been frustrated with it. We are all frustrated in trying to pilot these earthly vessels, if you will, and not necessarily knowing how to control and how it works. It is a very deliberate, willful, purposeful act, especially when you wake up to the realities of the world. You wake up to the realities of abuse and trauma, which is what we've done. We're awake to it now. There's no denying it. We can't hide from it. There's no going back to being naive, pretending it doesn't exist because it hurts us too bad. Right? So now we're faced with having to allow our bodies and our minds to process it, to change the way we live, to change the way we do things. And this is what you're going through. So continue to be here. I also want to make another recommendation for you, is in addition to being here, is a group called Celebrate Recovery. You said you're going to church. Church is fantastic, but going and sitting and listening to messages once a week is not necessarily going to cut it. So I would encourage you to visit a group called Celebrate Recovery. It's typically on Friday nights, and it's a group that involves a lot of people. You're with bodies of people like the Royal We community, who is understanding, and you can share and talk and heal in the presence of others. This is going to get you out of that physical loneliness where you feel like you only have your kids to lean on. Now you have people who are all there for the same reason. They're all in agreement. They're all in a way we need, we're in agreement that we need prayer, we need healing. That's the purpose of that group. So I recommend you check out Celebrate Recovery. It's free. Okay?
Okay.
And it's a safe place to be every Friday night.
Do you have any suggestion on what that I can tell my kids when they're asking me what's wrong, and I know I can't have them help me, and I'm just...
Be honest with them. Be honest with them. Tell them that you are experiencing anxiety and panic attacks.
Okay.
And they're going to say, what's that? And you can say, I don't know. Trying to figure it out, but it's real. It may be a part of my genetics, which means it may be part of your genetics. And one day you might experience it too. But don't do it in a way that's putting any blame or anything on them to figure out. They are far too young to help you figure this out. And they're not, they're not at that place. If anything, they can almost kind of damage and make you feel worse about it. So you don't want to go there. Just be honest with them. Say you are experiencing panic attacks brought on by, by certain traumas. Don't try to explain the trauma and how bad you're hurting, because, again, sometimes this can be like dumping onto them things that they don't understand. They're not ready for it. They did not experience the hurt and the pain the way you did, and you can't force them to believe that. So you're just going to have to keep it surface level with them, because here's the thing. Your kids want a mom. That's all they want from you. They want somebody
Right.
who they can get advice from. So,
Right.
so you're responsible to be able to maintain that with them by just being honest with them. I'm suffering from anxiety attacks. It's new to me. I'm trying to figure it out. Panic attacks and anxiety attacks. And I would leave it at that. And that's the reason.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because that's the truth. That's the truth.
I just wonder though, like I was with him for only 3 years. How long do you think it's gonna take for me to get better? Because I've been through, I thought, far worse things in my life that I conquered, and I didn't let them get to my mind. And it's almost 3 months
And this
now,
is
and I'm
why.
wanting to know.
Right. And this is why typically the strongest of us who hold in so much for so many years, all of that stuff that you held in, you just said it yourself. How if you don't mind, how old are you? You don't have to give the exact, but roundabout
I'm 46.
46 years of your life, hun. And you said you've never had experiences like this in your life. You've always been the one to brush things off your shoulder. You've always been the one to stand tall and stand strong through this storm and through that storm and never complained and never nothing, right? And I get that because
Right.
that was me too. You were the strong one for everybody. Well, guess what? That took a massive toll on your physical well-being. And now and now your body is telling you, "Hey, we need some time here to figure this all out." And so it caught up with you, hun, basically. Okay?
Okay.
And so
Okay.
you've got to understand that. Give your body some time. It's going to react.
Okay.
It's going to react. It's going to manifest this pain and the trauma of years of your life. It's going to manifest it the way it's going to manifest it. Acknowledge it. Yeah, I know. I see you. You're going into a panic right now. Right? You're going into a panic. Whatever you're doing. If you're driving, pull over. All right. Get grounded again. Remind your mind, your brain, and your body you're standing, you're alive. Drink some cold water. Take deep breaths. Just breathe in slowly and breathe out slowly. And I used to do this over and over and over again. Breathe in and just hold it and breathe out. Feel the cold air. Drink some water. I got to the point where I always kept water on me just for that purpose. Everywhere I went, it would be that constant reminder that I'm grounded, that I'm okay. I'm standing. I can drink some water. Okay. So these are little quirks that you will develop to help you get through this process. But do yourself a favor. Go back to the doctor on this next visit and tell him you are ready to wean off of Ativan now.
Kevin, I've only taken it twice, and I've had it
Okay.
for about. I only took it because I thought I was gonna pass out again.
This is not good stuff. A lot of doctors these days, they hear you have the panic and anxiety, and they are so quick to throw this stuff out there. Take this. I'm going to prescribe you this.
Yeah.
I'm going to prescribe you that. And well, never mind about the side effects of this and never any these things are drugs. It's drugs, right?
Right.
And you do not want to take the last thing your body needs as it's processing trauma in life is to have a fake dealing with a band-aid, a fake band-aid of drugs. It will stay there and it will manifest later and in greater ways. And so I encourage you, kick the Ativan, deal with this and experience the pain. Don't try to be stronger than it. Experience it. Ground yourself. Talk to somebody. You can call me, leave a message, talk to somebody on the chat when you feel like you're having a panic attack. Typically, I felt like I was having them in my most relaxed moments. I could be busy all day, and then I'd be lying down on the couch, and suddenly that's when the whole world would start to go dark, and everything would start.
That's what happened.
Right. Or right before I'd go to bed. Very scary, and I was alone. Living alone. Sometimes I went and opened my front door and I was ready to run to the neighbors in case I felt like I was dying because of a panic attack. So you do whatever you got to do. But like I said, just stay grounded. Expect it. Now that you have them, expect them from time to time. I may have a panic attack tonight. Have your glass of water ready. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And you, I promise you, as somebody who's been there, you will talk yourself and heal yourself and breathe yourself and ground yourself out of this anxiety.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I'm rooting
Okay. Thank you.
I'm rooting for you. We're here for you and we're praying for you, okay?
Yeah,
All right.
Devin. Thank you.
All right, hun. Good night.
Good night.
Wow, guys, that really spoke to my heart. That call. I want to thank Sophia for calling, because being somebody who has experienced uh, panic attacks myself, I know just how scary and how terrifying they literally can be. Guys, it's not a joke, but it is beatable. It's beatable without any medications, without drugs, without Ativan. These things can help, and doctors are real quick to throw these things out there because they help in the short term. But healing in the long term is being able to just understand that you're having anxiety, you're having a panic attack, and ground yourself. Drink some water, breathe slowly, allow your body and your mind to come back to its senses. We got a call from Boca Raton, Florida. You're live on the Royal We.
Hello?
Hello. Thank you for calling.
Hi, this is Rachel King.
Hi, Rachel.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay. I just recently found out, or I think, I don't know, that my husband is a narcissist, or he's just a really bad drug addict, or both. I'm not sure. I just happened to come upon one of your videos when I was listening to music. For some reason, it was just really weird. And I started listening to it, and everything, it was like, how do you know if you're with a narcissist or something? I don't know. And everything that you said was so dead on.
Mm-hmm. And
Sorry.
so that's okay.
So I'm in a situation where I can't leave. Like, he lives with me and my mother. Like, we pay my mother's mortgage. And I have nowhere to go, and my mother won't make him leave. You know, and he's so controlling. He has made everybody hate me. Like, I just started getting new friends away from him that he doesn't even know about. I mean, even my best friend he introduced me to, which I found out later.
Let me ask you a question. Are you married to this guy?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
We separated for a long time, for like 11 years. He's the father of my kids.
Okay.
And I was with somebody for that time. And anyway, that's another story. That man committed suicide recently because of this. And so I've been going through a lot of extra stress.
Sounds like it.
And
There's a lot going on.
yeah, and my kids are all out of the house. So anyways, like, when we got back together, like, he cheated on me. He left me. You know, I didn't trust him in the beginning, but somehow he turned it all around on me, where I had to prove my trust all over again, and I feel like
Right.
I just want to, like, love you, not to prove anything. Like, just,
Okay.
like,
So
you know.
you guys were married, you separated, you had a relationship with another man,
Yeah,
right?
he cheated on me
He cheated
with
on you.
that man's wife.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you guys separated and you cheated on him.
Springer. I never cheated on him.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
The guy that
No, I never have done anything to him.
So the guy that committed, you said the guy that committed suicide, was that before marriage or during or what?
It was after my husband had left me the last time.
So right. So it was during a separation, right? But you weren't divorced, right?
Never did. No.
Okay.
Never got divorced.
Okay. So yeah. So in a way, it's even though you're separated, but you're still married. Okay. It's still it's an adulterous type of affair situation. So he's had him, you've had him, and now he's had him, and he's still blaming you because you had him. And so here's the the issue with what's going on with your marriage. Unless you guys are in some kind of an agreement to have an open marriage and where you guys are okay with this, then all you're going to do is destroy one another with all of this.
Do what? Have an open marriage? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying unless you guys had some kind of an agreement to where this was okay
We
to,
don't.
okay, exactly. So the marriage in
We're not even like married. Like we don't share a bank account. Like he wouldn't even like cash at me $5 tonight so I could eat until my check goes through tomorrow. Like
okay.
and he didn't end up coming home.
Right.
And he didn't even tell me.
Right. It just sounds like
I
an
tried to sleep the whole house for him.
right.
I was rushing after work.
It sounds very difficult. It sounds like a very tough situation. I'm just being honest with you. It sounds like a very toxic relationship. There's no
It is.
right. It sounds like there's no winning in this, right? And so you're in this position now where you feel like you have nobody, and but at the same time I hear in your voice it's almost like you want permission because of your situation. You want permission from your mom, and because you're saying everybody's saying they won't let me get rid of him. Nobody will let me get rid of him. So I want to tell you right
No.
now, you're a grown woman. You don't need permission to say no and to disassociate yourself and disengage with anybody, right? And especially given the history that you've talked about in this relationship where there's been affairs on both sides. It's almost better at this point to say, whoa.
I have never had an affair on him. I've never had an affair on him. He left me. I've never done anything to cause distrust, ever. I don't understand why it's all, the tables have turned. And it's like I'm, like the one that's not trustworthy. And I've never done anything wrong to make him, not trust me. Like
Well,
I don't not
okay.
come home at night.
I'm not certain. Like I said, I don't know the dynamics. I'm just going by what was said. And what was said was that he was out he was involved with other people, and at some point he left you, right?
Yes.
And
Okay.
at that point you were involved with another person, and then you guys got back together again. Okay, so you were involved with somebody else.
But I didn't leave my boyfriend to get back with him or anything like that. Like it just happened,
Right, but it doesn't matter if you were married during that time. If you were still legally married,
yes.
okay, then
Or
that
for financial reasons, and he
right,
wasn't willing to pay child
right,
support, so I just wouldn't sign.
right. But as being a married couple, even if he left the house and went away for 6 months, a year, and you didn't see him, if you're out having a relationship with another man, that's still considered an affair. So I'm just saying that's technically speaking, that's what it is. And so there is what I'm telling you is there is distrust. There is distrust in the relationship all the way around. You don't have trust for him, right? Do you trust him?
No.
Of course not. Of course
I
not.
do.
So you
I do some things.
Okay.
Like I feel like I'm overthinking a lot, and I who's gonna, I try to tell myself like he's exhausted. He's not gonna want to be with all these women I'm thinking he's probably with. But like another example of what he did, he made me he didn't make me, but he made me more attracted to him because like the second time around this time because he was going through this hypnotherapy to change his perspective and he wanted me to do it so bad and he was like glowing and and he really I found out later only ever went once or twice and so I started going and during the suicide, and I started going to the hypnotherapist, and we developed a really, not anything sexual, just he said I was the most hypnotizable person he ever had. And I would be over there for hours because I had a lot to work on. I couldn't even leave the house.
Right.
I lost my job.
Right.
because of that.
I'm not sure exactly where to
Now
go
he
with
won't
this.
let me talk to that guy. He actually ruined my relationship with him because I have a journal, and he took a picture of what I wrote in my journal, and I never wrote anything, like nothing's ever happened. I don't know what he took a picture of because he deleted it, but put it on Facebook and tagged my hypnotherapist, and he won't even answer my phone calls. And he was like my
Right.
my lifeline.
Yeah. My whole thing right now is I would encourage you to obviously disengage, get out of the situation. I mean, that's all I can say as far as this. I don't know if you need to
So
leave.
how do I get out
Sure.
for
So
now? Like,
right. So
I'm
if
living in
you're
a
in a
different room.
situation, sure. Well, I mean, basically it's up to you. How much do you want to get out of the situation? That's going to determine what you do to get out of it. So, if your mom wants him there, then you should be the one to step out of the whole house and say, "Bye, mom. You can deal with them," and you go somewhere else. Okay. Because really what's you're in a situation where you're really not independent and on your own 2 feet. So you're living with your mom and he's living with your mom and it's your mom's house. So really she has this only say and you feel like you need permission to get him out. And it shouldn't be that way. You should be in this place
Right.
where you're like, I'm out of here and leave and say, don't call me for a
Like
while. Don't talk to me for a while and get yourself together to where you can heal, figure out what's going to be best for you in life to keep messing around with this guy and keep living in this cycle of whatever's going on in your marriage. Because it sounds real rough. It sounds real toxic. So you need some alone time away from it, far away from it to figure out, right, what it is you want to do. That would be my only suggestion for you at this point. Right. But first and foremost, you got to figure out how to break free of this. Because as long as you're living there under your mom's roof and he's living there too, and your mom is saying that he can stay and you're not liking it, the only thing you can really do is either spend every day fighting with your mom, which is going to cause you more drama, or you can just say, okay, I'm out of here. Because again, I'm going to go back to the serenity prayer for this. It says, God, grant me the wisdom to accept the things I cannot change. You can't change him and you can't change your mom. And then the rest of that prayer says, and give me the courage to change the things that I can. You can change yourself and you can change what you do and where you go. And then the rest of that prayer says, and give me the wisdom to know the difference, right? And so you've got to be able to figure out what it is that you need to do for you. I encourage you to get out of the situation on your own. Let them live happily together for a while or unhappily together while you figure out what's going to be best for you in this present state. And I encourage you to find a good support group. I'm going to recommend Celebrate Recovery to you as well, just because it's a good place for you to be with other bodies, other people around you to help talk and navigate through this, okay? Friday nights, it's
Do
free.
you
It's a
believe
great
that
program.
this narcissist and drug addiction run hand in hand?
Not always. It's not a rule, but it they do absolutely. you know, so not every narcissist is a druggie, but I'm willing to bet that you know in a lot of ways most people who are on drugs and it's going to have and carry with a lot of narcissistic tendencies. So yes. All right.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you for calling. Appreciate it. You've got a lot ahead of you, but we're here for you, okay?
Yeah.
All righty. Good night. Thank you for calling.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, we're going to open up the phone line again for you guys. And before I take the next phone call, I know we're running a little bit over time, but that's okay. I do want to give a shout out to our moderators. And we got a phone call from Illinois. If you would hold on one moment, caller from Illinois. Blue, I want to give you a very big shout out, and everybody in the chat, please give Blue a thank you and give her some love for being there in the community, for posting videos, for welcoming you, for talking to you, for just being a part of this, of everybody's recovery in the chat. And also Taylor Zabel. Taylor, thank you so much if you are there for everything that you do and your contributions as well and welcoming people and being there for people. And also for Justice and Truth. I know you showed up the other night. I'm not sure if you're there tonight as well, but thank you for Justice and Truth for everything that you're doing and welcoming and being a part of the Royal We community. as well, guys. I want to thank all of you so much. And if there's anybody else out there who has a heart for healing and wants to be a moderator here in the Royal We, please email me at jointheroyalwe@gmail.com so we can talk and chat and see if it would be something good that you can get into. And for those of you guys who are not comfortable with calling in, you can always email and text. You can email me at jointheroyalwe@gmail.com, email questions. And if I have a moment, I will begin reading emails, particularly next week. I'm going to start that. You could also text questions as well. All right, guys. And with that, we're going to go ahead and take this final caller from Illinois. I want to thank you for calling. You're live on the Royal We.
Hey, Kevin, it's Jason.
What's up, Jason?
Hey, how's it going? I recently went through about an 18-month relationship that I didn't have the terminology to know what the love bombing was, and I'm an empath, come from a very Christian family. Now that I've been able, I just want to say thank you, because about a month ago, I was looking for answers, and I was praying, and I was saying, what is going on, God? What is going on? I don't know. And then I found one of your videos, and there was a list in there of traits of narcissists. And then I had this actualization of, holy cow, this is all 25. And after reading those, I started doing more homework, and I continued to watch your videos, and I was able to educate myself and pull me out of what seemed like just a mind F. And I was able to step back, and that's when I learned about projection and the gaslighting and the triangulation. And it came to the point, based on the videos that you gave me, that I was able to throw out the bait and acknowledge why the relationship existed. And then I heard her literally tell me, you do not have any empathy. And that was the point where I had to acknowledge the truth, or projection in its finest.
Right.
And I want to give courage and strength to anybody that's out there to, if they recognize that something's off, they come from a Christian conservative family, which I feel like are prey for these people.
Yes.
That you still need to have forgiveness. They look for that forgiveness because they know you'll stick around the longest to fix and to pray. Kevin, I prayed every day in that relationship, every single day.
I know you did. I believe you. I was in that exact same boat. As a matter of fact, and I'll share this with you and the entire community, it almost took my faith away from me. It made me angry at my faith. I was angry at God. I almost turned my back on my faith because of just that. I was praying daily. I was doing what I was told works to love, right? And I watched love fail right in front of me. I watched my love be rejected. I watched love end up being reversed in projection, being told I was cruel and mean and I was selfish out of trying to love. I didn't get it. And so I went back to God and I said, I don't know if I want this, to love people and have them hate you. It makes no sense to me, right? So I get exactly where you're coming from. I do. It's very real. You do have to be careful, especially as a person of faith, because yes, in today's modern Christianity, where we are taught to just kumbaya, sprinkle love and sunshine all over everybody, and life's going to be good, narcissists and wolves are out there to eat you alive. They look for that. Oh, great. It's one of those empathic Christian types that looks for just the good in people, and they will stay in there and hang on. Right?
Yes.
And that's what you've
What
experienced.
do I do? So eventually, after the discard phase, when I want to say this, Kevin, I literally received the only place that she could meet me was at church, and she chose that as a destruction ground. I saw her mirroring in the sanctuary. She was mirroring me, finding God, asking for answers.
Right.
She mirrored all of my actions.
Right.
And then when we left, she literally got me to follow her to her car, and I saw the narcissistic stare.
Oh, yeah.
And it put a chilling feeling in my gut.
Oh, yeah.
I saw this face of just nothing.
Yeah.
And the eyes were almost, they were demonic.
Complete evil. Absolutely.
complete evil.
And what you saw
And then after,
and what you witnessed is who they are. Beyond the fake, the mirroring, right? Which is what they do. Narcissists, they mirror you, they love bomb you, and in the love bombing, they do a lot of mirroring. So if you smile, they smile. And they put on that fake charm, and but when you catch them in that moment, what they're expressing, that look on their face, and I've seen that too, that stare, it's unforgettable when you see it. When you're looking at them and they give you that, they have that face, and you're like, what? I've never felt. You can feel the anger and the hatred emit from them. And what you're experiencing is your discernment as a believer, your God-given gift of discernment. You're feeling that. You're picking up on that. Your gift of empathy. You're feeling that torture and that torment that narcissists live with on a daily basis. That's the evil that keeps them down.
wow.
That's it.
I have one last question for you. Is after I was able to put together 1,000, maybe 2,000 dots to 100% confirm what you led me on a path of knowledge and truth is, and Jesus is the truth.
Right.
But what I'm trying to say is you led me to the acknowledgement of what my hypothesis is. After that, I literally called her out on narcissistic personality disorder and all of the things behind that. And about a week later, I got an email from the church that I was no longer allowed to go to small group anymore. And I knew that it was a part of the smear campaign. And my question is after you expose and you have that, technically, in a sense, you know the truth, so they will never come back around again. I'm not expecting a Hoover at all because of the exposure. What do I do now, knowing that she knows that I know exactly? And I would say she's on the far right there to the red.
Stay away. That's what you do. Stay away. Because what you are now, okay, and because you have exposed her, you see right through her, you are a threat to her very existence. All right? This is what most people don't understand, the violence and the hostility of narcissists and abusive individuals. Where does it come from? Well, you have to understand that to them, they have developed their narcissism as their protection mechanism. It's the lens through which they see the world. And when you start to see through that, into that, you are threatening their entire world to where they literally believe that you are now the aggressor and that you are hostile and that you now are the violent one because you are seeing into their world, right? And so you become a threat. So the way in which we feel about them as being hostile, unstable, unpredictable, violent, that's how they see you. Simply because you see the truth. You see that they are cruel, mean, cold, malicious, malignant, and they see the fact that you see that, they view that as a threat, right? And the reason you want to stay away is because when you're dealing with abusive narcissists, there is no ends to what they will do to protect themselves from that kind of a threat. So now you've already experienced a little bit by her going to the entire church to tell them what a horrible, mean person you are because you saw that she is a narcissistic, she has this personality disorder. You are a monster to her. How dare you attack people? You attack God's people. You're evil. You're wicked, right? All this stuff. And so to continue on in this, to engage with her in any way will further that threat. And she is liable to even go as far as calling authorities on you and lying to them. She's liable to do what others have done and maybe even try to off you. It happens because there's no telling what these personality disordered people do in these moments where they feel threatened. You have to imagine, what would you do in a moment where you felt threatened, you and your life were threatened? You would, obviously with you because you're normal, with me I'm normal, it would be like if somebody were coming into our house to hurt our families, we would act in self-defense to protect our families, right? So, in this is how abusive narcissists work, except there is no real physical threat to them. But to them, it feels like there's a threat because the fact that you see through them, you see their hurt, that is threatening enough. You're threatening their life. You're threatening their existence. You're threatening their right to be because they developed into who they are, right? And so you have to understand that. So anything you do to engage will be playing that game and being stuck in that world. So my suggestion, having all that said, my suggestion is to leave it alone, get out of the situation. If the church has asked you to step down, say, okay, I'll step down. Pray in the background that God, you reveal your truth, but stay away. Don't talk to her. Don't give her any ammunition to be able to tell the church that you are harassing her or talking to her or anything, right? Everything you do from this point on has to be in complete avoidance of this person. If you want to, right? Doesn't mean you can't associate with other people in the church, right? But you have to be in avoidance of this person, okay? For your own safety.
I did consult with the church counselor and basically give them, my perspective on the whole thing and from a straight point perspective. But what I want to share with the people that are listening to this video is if you are a believer, and I've had to acknowledge this, is that during this period of the devaluation, I was studying for exams, and a lot of pressure and anxiety came from these exams. And I put the face of Jesus in the front of my mind through all of these, and even the interview that I received after these exams that I needed. And he was with me on, I have to acknowledge, a spiritual presence on these three occasions that will forever be with me the rest of my life, that he was there. And after the discard, I received blessings that answered a prayer from 2 years ago that I was trying to accomplish. He did not let this Jezebel spirit take me out of where I was headed and my direction. So if there's if people are listening right now, and if they're believers, continue to pray, keep God in your mind, keep Jesus in the front of your head at all times, because he will bring you where you need to be. And Kevin, I'm so glad that I found your channel and it gave me the answers, and I've had to acknowledge his presence in everything that I've been living, and knowing the truth allows me to walk away with I've made my own closure.
And that's what you have to do.
I just want to thank you.
Right. Well, thank you.
I want to thank you for what you're doing, Kevin.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for calling.
Yep.
Thank you. All right, guys. Well, listen, I want to thank you. I want to thank all the callers tonight. Fantastic telephone calls, and thank you for the courage that it takes for those of you who made that phone call. It does take a lot of courage and to be able to get out and voice and articulate what it is you're going through. And so I'm very, very, very happy to see that you guys are taking the time and the strength to do that. I want to thank the community and the community leaders tonight, Blue and Taylor, and for Justice and Truth. Thank you all for your leadership in there and for being just being there, being available. Guys, if you, for those of you who are interested in knowing how you can help support the Royal We, before we wrap this up, I want to let you know that you are welcome to donate, and you can donate to the Royal We through a link in the homepage of the channel. So if you visit the Royal We homepage, YouTube homepage, the PayPal link is there in the upper right-hand corner, and you're welcome to donate whatever you would like to donate. Also, guys, if you would like to donate and get something in return, there is merchandise available. If you go down below in the description box of this video, right down below this screen, you will see the link to the merchandise store. It's Teespring, and there you can find the Royal We merchandise. There are t-shirts, there are coffee mugs, there's hoodies, and some pretty cool stuff. And so it would be great to see some people support some the Royal We shirts and mugs and all that. And it's a good way to be able to also help donate to the Royal We. All right, guys, with all that, I want to thank you so much for being here, and thank you for being a part of the Royal We. Tonight's Thursday night. If you were not able to get on live tonight, call tomorrow night, Friday night. We will start at 10 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. And then Friday night will be the last night before we go on and have a weekend. And then we'll come back on Monday evening at 10 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, guys. And Monday evening, I'll have a little bit of a different setup. I'm going to have some things done in here to make it an easier evening of talking for everybody with hopefully no more technical difficulties. And it's just going to be a lot easier. So I want to thank you guys once again. Have a very good night tonight, guys. And we'll see you tomorrow night, Friday night, right here on the Royal We. Good night.